excited to see our students again. Parents, help your child. Set a time and a quiet place for work and establish bedtime routines so your child will be rested and ready to learn. Help us make a bright new beginning for our students this year.
Sponsored by the Nebraska State Education Association, aired by the Nebraska Broadcasters Association in this station.
Shiro's work is never done. You care for the house, the kids. We're so grateful for all you do. Now it's time to care for yourself and save a little more for retirement. A free 3-minute online chat can give you the personalized tips you need to boost your retirement savings now. Visit asiaretirement.org/Shiro today.
A public service announcement brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
This is Bigger Than the Score with Peter Ferguson from Lincoln Public Schools on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
All right, welcome to 93.7 The Ticket. It's Bigger Than the Score. This is Peter Ferguson with Peter Ferguson BHS LLC, and join on the board, as he always says, on the ones and twos with Harrison. How you doing?
Doing good. It's a nice Sunday morning. It wasn't super hot out. It's been a nice July, and I think it's August now already. Man, that's crazy.
August 6th.
Yeah, last week was the last July show. It's just, I guess that's where I'm at. It's just the summer's been an absolute blur. It's been awesome though. Yesterday was crazy whirlwind. This whole weekend with conference realignment. We're probably not going to talk about that a lot, not our show, but man, you could talk about that for 10 hours. It's just crazy what's going on in sports. But yeah, it's just exciting time. We're getting ready for our fall sports to kick off here. I'm sure it's exciting. A lot of these, I'm sure high schoolers at this point have probably been working on some of that summer work, are excited just to kind of get going here. But yeah, it's been pretty great, pretty close to the end of July, opening of August. I'm just really excited. I get when you get kind of back into the school year and you're not in school anymore, it's a good feeling. I just get to sit back and enjoy watching sports and whatever else is kind of coming up on the plate. But other than that, it's been awesome. How about you, Pete?
Yeah, kind of the same. I think when you kind of that Hall of Fame game, the Hall of Fame enshrinement yesterday, and I kind of I gave Raph a little jab as if DeMarcus Ware went in as that, and then had Jerry Jones introduce him. I'm not quite sure about that, but you're right. I mean, a lot of things are kicking off. That conference realignment for me, where it personally, I'm an University of Arizona fan.
Oh, okay.
And so making that switch, I kind of, I joked with somebody. I said, the back of your T-shirts that you used to wear, those are going to become collector's items. So I think everybody is going to those thrift stores and everything else. And the old Big 12 shirts, which used to have Nebraska on, now it's like, you got the Big 12, the it's just that it's just going to be very, very different. And I don't know, good, bad, or indifferent. That's kind of for another day. But just, when you talked about NIL and you talked about, honestly, it does impact when you start talking about, our scholars that we've had on. That many of them have looked for opportunities. What does that look like? I'd be interested at some point in time for somebody to have the conversation. What does that look like for somebody like UNO?
Yeah, it is just very unique. I was seeing a lot of tweets, and some of these players, they do have a right to say, but some of those players that are in some of those schools, all of a sudden they're like, I don't want to necessarily go all the way over to Rutgers. I kind of want to be close to the region. So it is interesting. I'm not gonna say anything's good or bad yet. I think we're gonna have to wait and see how everything plays out. But yeah, it's just crazy. These conferences are getting huge. Designing those T-shirts, those logos are going to be scrunched. Like, you got to get a lot of teams on those. It's just a completely new landscape, and yeah, I'm really curious just to see what it looks like from a student athlete's perspective, because I know we get a lot of these guys in here. It's going to be cool to see what it's like going to the West Coast for some of those games, and vice versa, having those guys come all the way out here, because you're going all the way from East Coast to West Coast. If you're Rutgers, you're going to UCLA or something. I'm just really excited to kind of see what this all looks like after a year.
Well, and it broadens that marketing aspect. And so,
absolutely.
I think there's a lot of things. And so I think in a future show, definitely have some individuals on that. You're right. It's kind of that end of summer. Tomorrow kicks off for a lot of the state, the fall tryouts. In the fall athletics. I know the week 0-1 individuals. I think there were some people out like Bellevue West and West Side and Omaha. Those teams got to start, a week earlier because they have a 0-week game.
Yeah.
So, but it's just, kind of cool to kind of start seeing that momentum, kind of flood in the school readiness days. I think those transitions from whether it's individuals that are taking their kids to kindergarten, for the first time, you're going to see a lot of tears and separation anxiety to, those kids that are going, those scholars that that are going into middle school, and that kind of that frame of your life. And then also those are going into high school, and those are kind of, this is their last go around. So for those getting ready to embark on that, whether it's the, cheer, the cheer, to the athletics, to just the other part of just the academic component, good luck to you. I know it's going to be, reality's going to hit, but, I just wish them the best of luck. I kind of want to send out some congratulations to some individuals, some personal notes of privilege. Ellie Honens, she was on one of our first shows with Kaylee Dankert, and she's a golfer at East High School. Got to coach her, and just a phenomenal individual. But her dad, David Honens, is the president of the PGA for the area. But got a call. I was on the 18th hole at Pioneers. And don't kid yourself. I'm no AD or anybody, around. But I was on the 18th hole, decided to call back, wasn't having the best round. And she just said, "Hey, Coach P, I just wanted to tell you that, I'm going to commit to UNO tomorrow." And you were one of those people I wanted to call and tell before. And that kind of just, when you talk about being bigger than the score, and kind of the purpose of the show and the impact that people can make. And I'm not just talking about me, but just that was so cool just to hear the joy in her voice. Her folks were on the phone. And so I really want to congratulate Ellie on just committing to UNO. But the cooler thing was at the end, I said, "Hey, can't wait to go see you there." And she says, "Well, we got a state championship to win first, Coach."
Oh, that's awesome.
And I've always said, that high school experience to me is something you don't get back. And oftentimes you don't hear that people in club at the end. It's like, "I can't wait till next summer." And I'm like, man, you got a full season to do something that's really awesome. Get to Pinnacle Bank, get to Memorial Stadium and a championship or whatever it might be. And for the fact that she just said, like at a state championship to win first, Coach, that was really cool. So congratulations to her and her family. Another Coach Venerable, who's been in here and is one of your favorites.
Yeah, I think we had him a couple times now, right?
Yeah. His daughter committed to play volleyball at UNO. So UNO got a double snag this week. So I want to say congratulations to Faith, who is at Pius High School, and she's going to be a junior, but committed there. And so just, a lot of individuals getting those opportunities and so taking advantage, but also the work and the attitude and effort that has gone into it. So just wanted to kind of make sure that I put that out to the universe. Congratulations, especially to those two.
Yeah, absolutely want to shout those guys out. And like you said, Omaha's got a couple of good people, great people, actually. I'd be, after talking to both of those guys or having an opportunity to hear them. That's awesome for them. Happy to hear it. But yeah, it's just an awesome time. Everyone's getting ready to kind of go back to school. Pete, was there anything that you remember in particular when you're going back to school? What was kind of your feeling, especially when you're in that high school? Was it excitement? Was it anxious?
Man, it was
everyone's a little different.
Yeah,
some people are excited. I walk in the first day of school and I'm like, this guy took dressing up on the first day seriously. You always see those first day outfits.
Yes.
It was always a big deal. And I'd always come in with just shorts and a t-shirt, like, dang, I should have stepped up my game a little bit.
No, you pace yourself a little bit. I think it's a little bit different, kind of just, different genres. Like, I think elementary, you're to the T. I mean, you got it. You came with a book bag, you had the line notepad that you never used. It's like 50,000 pencils.
When you were picking out your ruler, you took way too long.
Yeah, like I want this color because nobody else will have it and I'll find it or whatever. So high school was more of to be honest, I think we had football. So I was playing football. So honestly, at that time, we were doing two-a-days for a couple weeks before. So you were just exhausted. You were glad school started because honestly, it brought it down to one practice. And so I'm not gonna lie to you. I wasn't a fashionista at that point in time. I was just, get into school, dress right, but it was football. You knew you only had one practice. So I think college was a little different. We had those, the freshman orientation nights and, you were doing different things. And so you were going to class. And the fact of the matter is high school, you're there all day. So you wear nice stuff. College, you're walking around, everybody's wearing good stuff. And you're going to like 2 classes. Didn't make a whole lot of sense. So I think I cared more about kind of the attire during that. And then once season started, we were always wearing kind of the same sweats each day. That was our MO. But what about you?
Yeah, no, it was it's kind of the same thing. Football, we had the same kind of process. I'd imagine most high schools do because you can only practice so much, but you go those 2 days before. And once school started, like, you were pretty happy just to have one practice and bring that down. Because it was always football I'll be honest. Yeah, football took away all my anxiety. I got all that out
Yeah.
with my morning practices, and then you'd be done. But no, it was always just super excited. For me, it was a real small student body,
Right.
so it was always kind of wasn't super crazy for me because I pretty much stayed in touch with all those guys
Right.
over the summer anyway. So I guess from my experience, it was kind of just plugging back in. It didn't feel like you really skipped a beat. I think it's maybe just a small school type of thing, but it was always felt like you weren't really missing much. You saw those guys pretty much every day over the summer, and you walk back in, you're like, oh, same thing. Now we're just in the classroom.
Yeah, and I think you get to a point times like my parents, like during the course of the year, if we needed something, that's kind of when we got it. So like summer for my daughter, I remember playing, like it was tournaments, and so there were T-shirts and different things you'd pick up during the course. So that became the schoolwear. We were honestly really fortunate in that capacity because it was like, okay, we got the $10 or the $12 T-shirt. That's what she wanted to wear to school. She wasn't really one that she had some dress up type things, but it wasn't kind of glamour walk, the fashion walk. But the other thing is that moving people back into college, I think when you see that, like I kind of always look at that. I've been watching some people, like parents, be like, my baby's gone, they're in the dorm, and it's a pose picture, and then it's like you get the ones with a smile and they're like with their favorite deuces. And then the other one's like, okay, let me do this. And so it's just kind of that anxiety that I think is just different for, you've got the scholars, there's that nervousness, but also I think for the parents. And so for those of you parents that are kind of missing your babies, especially the ones that are kind of football and stuff, band and things right now, especially the college level, they're gone. They moved in kind of this week. You did the right thing. You raised them. Trust them. You've heard on here multiple times from individuals like you did a great job. Trust your kid. I think it was a couple weeks ago we had a young man just say that. It's like, hey, just trust your kid. Trust your kid.
And it feels good. I remember leaving off for college, and I got my dad just a bunch of Powerade because he'd always get on me when we were growing up. And when I was in high school, I drank all of his Powerade every time, and he'd always drop them out. I got my some flowers so I can seal the deal on the favorite child before I headed out. But yeah, it is just an awesome time, and you got to really appreciate those because I'll never forget that day, even though it was small. But it was cool just to kind of say goodbye, and like you said, they did their job. But with that being said, we do got to go to break here. Real quick, bunch of preview what we have ahead, and we'll go ahead and throw it to our first break.
Yeah, like I said, I think every week I use the word phenomenal, but we have phenomenal and fantastic scholars, which are going to kind of drop some knowledge, just like Jayana last week did.
Yeah, she was awesome.
Yeah, fantastic. And so we got Darion, who's going to be another scholar at Northwest High School, and we talked about football, so his face kind of opened up a little bit. He said they're going 3 to 6 right now after doing morning workouts all summer.
Lord.
So we're gonna have to talk to Coach Locke a little bit about that. But at least you're not doing with or Miss Kirkland. Miss Kirkland does the cheer over Lincoln High and talked about like 5 a.m., 6 a.m. workout. So we could have that conversation. And then we got Nyalak, who is a senior, is going to be a senior at Southeast High School. And is just holding down in so many different ways. And so I'm excited to hear from both of them, just kind of maybe what their favorite school item is, what they're looking most forward to, but also kind of their transitions and advice that they've got to give. So with that, you're on 93.7 The Ticket, Bigger Than the Score with Peter Ferguson. We'll be back after a few quick messages.
The sweet relief of air conditioning after a hot day in the summer sun. For only $2.88 a day, LES helps power life's special modes and your comfort. Learn more at les.com/value.
Hey guys, Jake here from Early Break. On behalf of the entire 93.7 The Ticket team, we are excited to announce this fall we are teaming up with Husker Big Red Brunch. We'll have big names from now and the past in Husker sports, and it all starts on Wednesday, August 9th for the Big Red Brunch Golf Scramble at Tiburon Golf Club in Gretna. Sign up to play today at omaha.com and find the Big Red Brunch tab. You won't want to miss this on August 9th at Tiburon in Gretna.
Our lives only have so much time. But if you smoke, you less. Your life could be 10 years shorter. And the time you do have is often filled with health problems. Shortness of asthma, COPD, and cancer. But the minute you quit, your body starts healing.
Call the Nebraska Tobacco Quit line, 1-800-QUIT-NOW, 1-800-784-8669. 84 Tobacco-Free Nebraska, aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and Nation.
I know that a lot of times, Mom, it might not seem like I'm listening to you, but I am. I hear you. And what you say really does matter to me.
I mean, let's be honest. No kid likes rules, but I get why we have them. I hear you, and I know it's because you care.
For more information about talking with your kids about underage use of alcohol and other drugs, visit underagedrinking.samhsa.gov.
Sponsored by DHHS and in cooperation with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
Early break with Sip and Jake.
So with Matt Davis in the studio, president of the 1890 Initiative, Nebraska's NIL operation.
We have some things to say in the next few weeks, few months for sure. So I think 1890 and the trajectory for our company is really good. I think we have the ability to have a top 5 collective in the country. I think we're trending that way.
Early break with Sip and Jake from 6 to 8 every weekday morning. 93.7 The Ticket.
I wanted to quit for so long, but I didn't know where to start.
I was afraid of what people would think, but then I found the right support to start my recovery journey. 1 in 14 Americans reports experience substance use disorder, a treatable medical condition. Treatment can take many forms, so there are a variety of options to explore and find what's best for you. Recovery from drug addiction is possible.
Paid for by the CDC. Sponsored by Nebraska DHHS. Aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
Back to Bigger Than the Score with Peter Ferguson from Lincoln Public Schools on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome back to 93.7 The Ticket. This is Bigger Than the Score. This is Peter Ferguson, BHS LLC, and glad to have Harrison once again. So I don't say that reunited and it feels so good. I just wanted to throw a song out. Everybody else on their show has a song and sing, so we'll get one up sooner than later. But Harrison, if people want to get in touch or kind of comment on the show, how can they do it?
Yeah, absolutely. If you guys want to join the show, Starter Heyman text line 402-464-5685. And if you want to put a face to the voice, streaming on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, and Allo Channel 951. Again, you can also comment on those streams if you want to join the show.
You got to change that, not Twitter, X.
X. That's right.
X.
Man, I haven't thought about it. But to be fair, if you go to the site, it's Twitter. It's still on the URL.
So. The artist formerly known as Twitter.
Yeah,
we'll go
that's on
there.
them.
Well, hey, we've got 2 scholars in here as we previewed before the break. We've got Darion, who is a phenomenal young man. He's over at Northwest High School. And then we got Nylock, who's laughing at me, just said I posted a picture with her eyes closed. So we'll get all that, we'll Photoshop that here a little bit. But she is a senior over at Southeast High School. How both of you doing today? Awesome. Fantastic. So, let's go ahead and start with you, Nylock. Just tell us a little bit. Who are you? Have you always lived in Lincoln? Who's in your family?
My name is Nylock Dak. I'm going to be a senior at Southeast High School. I was actually born here in Lincoln, so I've lived here all my life. And then I play basketball. I got a couple offers. Waiting to make my decision early fall. So
okay. So who's in your family?
I'm the middle child of 7 kids, actually, and then my mom and dad. Yeah.
Okay, you want to give the names a shout out here? Or do you feel like you're gonna leave somebody out now? That's always our test. No, go ahead. Who's in the family? Give a shout out and show them some love.
Okay, I'll go oldest to youngest. Okay. Got Nylipe, Nywall, Benga. Everyone knows him. He's going to play basketball at Colorado.
Okay.
He's a freshman.
Oh, nice.
And then me, Ben, Aaliyah, and then my little brother Maker.
Okay,
so,
fantastic.
Yeah, and then my mom and dad. Mm-hmm.
Okay, giving the whole crew some love there. I like that. She's like, I'm the best kid though. I'm yours. So
middle child's always the best.
Hey, nothing wrong with that. And Darion, tell us a little bit. Tell us who you are, and then kind of have you always lived here? Where have you gone to school? And then who's in your family?
Yeah, so I'm Darion Smith. I go to Northwest, and I have 5 family, but I have 3 dogs.
Okay.
So I'm also a middle child. And I'm the 3rd youngest. So I was actually not born in Nebraska. I was born in Kansas. I have a lot of family down in Kansas. They're, I want to say, older and younger. There's a big variety, but a lot of them live in Kansas City. Some like Wichita, McPherson too. But anyway, I was born down in Kansas. All my family was.
Okay.
And
have you always gone to school here? Just what schools did you go to?
I went to my preschool down in Kansas, but then I came up to my 1st grade year at West Lincoln.
Okay.
for 3 years. I went to West Lincoln, and then we moved, and I decided to switch over to Roper. That's where I know a lot of my friends now.
Okay.
That we all came from Roper. Then I actually didn't go to the school near Roper. I went to SCO Park.
Okay.
So that's where I got a lot more friends. And then we all just went to Northwest because,
Just like that bike gang Harrison and I talked about a month or so ago. It's like you guys probably just rode those bikes in the neighborhood, and like we're rolling together like bad boys for life. That's how it happened. You also have another support that came with you. You're in the Big Brothers Big Sisters program, and just give a shout out to who your big is.
Yeah, his name's Jeff Murray, actually.
Okay.
He's a little prancer over there.
Oh, okay. He's up there throwing the rabbit ears. We'll get Jeff on here in a little bit. So you talked a little bit about your involvements. Now, like, tell us, what are some of the things that you're involved in? You talked about basketball, obviously, but what are some involved in, or have been involved in the past?
Just like leadership cadre, especially equity cadre with Pete over here, with the district, and then our own cadre at Lincoln Southeast, which we're working to like get like a better hand on. So that's pretty much it. And just like AU basketball or just helping around Lincoln.
And I also know that you're involved in some of the leadership components over at Southeast. I think it's called Shield.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, that's Patrice.
Oh, okay. So we could have lied and said you were involved. She's running it from behind the scenes. So, Darren, what about you?
Big Brothers just really got me more involved with things like around me. Like after joining, I feel like I've done a lot more than I would have done if I didn't join, and I'm really like glad I joined Big Brothers Big Sisters because without like Jeff, I don't think I'd be doing as much things as I'm doing, like just like this radio show. I don't feel like I'd be doing this, but some things I really got involved in is like
you do football.
Yeah,
I know that. So what position you play in football?
I do slot.
Okay.
And a little bit of outside, but I do soccer as well.
Okay.
That was probably where I started all my sports career.
Awesome.
When I was young. So
awesome. Well, a couple things I always like to ask: just what's something that people don't know by looking at you? So, what is something people don't know just by looking at you? And we'll go ahead and start with you, Darion.
I would say that have a little bit of RBF, so I'm like I look mad, but usually I'm like pretty fun. But
okay.
I mean, I do like golf. If someone looked at me, I'd be like, oh, he probably plays a lot of basketball, but I do not play a lot of basketball.
Okay. I like that. And I mean, the thing I would say is, man, when he opened his mouth, Harrison, he got a voice for radio. That guy's like got that Barry White. Like, I'm just like, he may need to do some voiceovers for y'all. I mean, that man opened his mouth, and I'm like,
yeah, God definitely gave him the bass.
Yeah,
he was setting up the audio box.
Yeah. I mean, puberty must have. When did that start? Like 3? He was like, we're gonna make it out. Okay, we got you. Fantastic. Now, like, what about you? What do people don't know by just looking at you?
I'd probably say the same thing with the RBF, but like once you get to know me a lot,
people are gonna text out what RBF is, and I'm gonna hold off. I'm a RBF.
We're streaming.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, we're okay.
Yeah, I'm actually like a really goofy person. Like once you get to know me, I'm like always just like everywhere. I'm always there for people. It's like, or even like on a daily basis, I'm always getting told like, "Oh, you're such a leader. Like you've done this." Like most adults I even know would even do that, like the actions you took,
right?
Or even just like the simple activities. Like I literally went fishing yesterday. I golf a little bit, just had friends.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what do you fish for? Or do you even just like I just want to catch something, a tire or whatever
I
else?
just want to catch something.
Okay. And I've seen her golf swing.
Okay.
She put in some work on golf now. I
had a couple golfers in here.
Yeah.
I might be the worst one in the room at this point.
I don't know about that.
we won't pull out the video. But talk a little bit. We entered a little bit when we talked about the Big Brothers Big Sisters piece. But what are some things that mentors or people that you've had relationships that you've had in your life? I mean, and now I kind of talk maybe about one of those individuals and what things have they kind of contributed to your upbringing.
I'd have to give out like a shout out again to like Heidi Moore. She was there for me like a lot during high school, especially like when I got injured, and then like all of that, just like all that adversity hit me. She's always just there for me, like when I was just there to listen to me, just like when a lot settled on, and just like helping me step by step along the way for like my recovery, not even just like physically, but like mentally, emotionally. And yeah.
Awesome. Thank you. What about you, Darian?
I really Jeff and Laura like one of the upper and big
Yeah,
big sisters. Like I feel like when I first joined, I was not really comfortable like, hanging out with someone I barely knew. But after I got to know Jeff and Laura, I feel like when I go to these Big Brothers events, I feel like I'm just known. But there were some times back when I was still in middle school that there was some rough time going on home, and like knowing Jeff, like I could go to event and it would just help me. Every time I had like bad at school, like he was on me like like my mom would, but it's hard to open up to him.
Right. It's different when when your mom's on you. I mean, it's something. I mean, you can't really avoid it. But also, it's kind of nice sometimes when you have somebody that can reinforce, and it's like, man, it's not just her. It's not just the people in my house. It's somebody from the outside seeing the same thing, saying the same thing. So there's oftentimes value in that. Why, for me, a big platform to me is just relationships, and that relationships absolutely matter. For those that may struggle, why do relationships, why are they absolutely important? Why do they matter?
I would say they matter the most, especially just having a connection with people, because then once you're like down in the dumps, you can reach out and they'll just help you or just give you like their perspective of things. And who knows, like at the end of the day, that perspective might even just like work out, get you a step ahead of where you like started from the beginning of the day.
Good. No, great point. Darren, what about you? Why do relationships absolutely matter?
I feel like relationships really matter is because like without like, how do I want to say this? I feel like relationships can really hold it can really when you don't have a relationship that you can like go to whenever you're like feeling down, like it's not going to help you build up. You're just going to stay like the same, I feel like. But with the relationship, it's going to like help you build up yourself.
Okay.
And
that's a powerful point. Like build up, your self-worth, your confidence in a variety of different areas. So I love those points that you both of you all shared with that. Again, you're on 93.7 The Ticket, Bigger Than the Score. We've got Nylock, who is a senior at Southeast High School, and then we got Darian, who is going to be your junior or sophomore at Northwest High School. And so you guys both of y'all talked about some of the struggles a little bit. You kind of alluded to that, Nylock, a little bit about Ms. Moore being there for you in regards to that. But we've had individuals on and talked about like people think, like when I struggle, like I've got to look for other people to support it, and there's help out there, and we say put your voice out there. But what is one recommendation you have for people, something you recommend to people to do when they're struggling with something?
I always just say like make sure. Wait, can you say that again?
Yeah, so what's one recommendation you have for people that might be struggling with something, just in general?
Always just try and look at like the positive side. Like it's okay to get down on yourself, but make sure once you're done being sad to always like trying to have a smile on your face, or just like the next day, see what you can do to help you improve on like what you're struggling with.
Right. I always look at kind of that end of the tunnel. I tell people like, okay, wait till the end of the tunnel, but there's lights in the tunnel normally when you're driving. So look at those lights as you go through to kind of progress. What about you, Darren?
Yeah, I feel the same way, but I would say like don't be scared to open up to someone, like because if you open up to them, it's gonna get way better for you, and you're not like sitting and you're like on despair. I want to say when you have someone to open up with, it's like, wow, this just helped me so much. Exactly like that light in the tunnel too. That like just perfect. Like that's exactly what I would like say to someone. Like make sure you're like just keep looking to the light. Like you don't want to keep going to the dark, because then what happens there. You just feel sad, but you can always feel better if you open up.
Wow, powerful all the way around. What is something that you're most looking forward to with school starting here in a couple weeks? Harrison and I chopped it up earlier and said we kind of, we were looking towards the fashion line as we walked into the building. No, not really. Practices being over, but what is the thing you're looking forward to most on August. Well, you all go back since you're upperclassmen, I think on the 15th.
Yeah.
But as you walk to those halls, you're like, man, I can't wait to see this, be this.
What I'm most excited about for this school year is probably seeing back all the teachers I really like
Okay.
at my school. Shout out Mr. Plaster. You know who you are.
Right there. Hey, we just formed that, not the YN, but just make sure you get the A. That's all he's worried about right there. What does he teach?
Math, actually.
Oh, man, we haven't had somebody out here shout out their math teacher.
That's a rarity. If you're a teacher that can teach math and become a favorite as well, that's impressive.
Awesome.
That's a 1-2.
Congrats over there at Northwest. So you're looking forward to the math teacher. Okay. What about you, Nyla?
I don't know. I would just say probably basketball season. I feel like I've kind of experienced like everything in high school. So
Okay.
just ready.
So she's like waiting for November. She's
Yeah.
like, I mean, she's gonna show up every other day, but soon as I don't even know when tryouts are, but like November 10th, it's like, okay, Nyloc's here to go ahead and make it happen. So, well, hey, with that, we're gonna take a quick break. But when we come back, I've got a couple questions to ask you, like advice that you've received, advice that you would give to other individuals. We're actually gonna bring Jeff in as well. He's sitting in the other room being a prankster, so we're gonna bring him into the main arena and let him go at it. But you're out listening to 93.7 The Ticket, Bigger Than the Score with Pete Ferguson. We'll be right back.
At Parkview Animal Hospital in Lincoln, it's not just the professional care that sets them apart, but their warm staff and state-of-the-art facilities. Whether it's for a routine checkup or a comprehensive medical procedure, at Parkview, your pet isn't just another number, but a valued. Visit them at PAH Lincoln, an intersection just south of 14th and Pine Lake Road. Parkview Animal Hospital, your pet, our passion. For happier, healthier furry friends.
Proud to be voted Best Vape Shop.
Generation V.
Is thrilled to announce our newest location is now open at 27th and Superior.
Generation V.
Explore with the largest selection of vape, Delta 8, Kratom, all your favorite brands of disposables, e-liquid, premium THCA flower.
Generation V.
We'll guide you through our extensive collection to help you find the perfect fit.
Generation V.
With locations in Lincoln, Omaha, Seward, York, Kearney, and Beatrice. Visit our newest store now open at 27th and Superior in Lincoln. GenerationV.com. E6 contain nicotine. Nicotine is an addictive chemical.
Victor deployed for the first time to Afghanistan in 2003. At 4 a.m, my phone rang. They said, I regret to inform you that your husband was wounded in action. Victor sustained a moderate traumatic brain injury, was doing school full-time and caring for Victor. The most important elements of caregiving is taking care of yourself. I just didn't want to forget that I also had goals and that I also had a life. What I did is I challenged Victor to meet me halfway. There are almost 6 million military and veteran caregivers across the nation. We have our own journey, and we can fulfill that journey at the same time that we are helping our loved one.
Visit aarp.org/caregiving for a free military veterans guide to navigate your caregiving journey and better care for your loved one and yourself. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
Summer is over. It's time to settle into your back-to-school routine. I'm Jenny Benson, president of the Nebraska State Education Association. As teachers, we're excited to see our students again. Parents, help your child. Set a time and a quiet place for homework and establish bedtime routines so your child will be rested and ready to learn. Help us make a bright new beginning for our students this year.
Sponsored by the Nebraska State Education Association, aired by the Nebraska Broadcasters Association in this station.
Finally, a good reason to Smart House. Just say, Alexa, play 93.7 The Ticket, and we'll magically start playing. Nobody knows. Don't ask questions. The Ticket water cooler.
There were a lot of situations where all you needed was that kind of 2-minute drill.
That was it.
Nebraska never was able, under Scott Frost, to really get one of those things going. The 2-minute drill and the ability to move productively, move the ball, has been a complete failure for Nebraska over the last few years. I think a big part of being successful in that is having a quarterback that can move, and we know Jeff Sims can move, probably bail you out of a lot of situations.
Veterans, do you know what local, state, and federal benefits and services you're eligible to receive? Do you want help navigating the application or appeals process? Speak to your county veteran service officer or the Nebraska Department of Veterans Affairs State Service Office to see what's available to you and your family. You've served our country. Now let us serve you. Visit veterans.nebraska.gov today. Sponsored by the Nebraska Department of Veterans Affairs, aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
This is where it happens. Long hikes with friends, kayaking adventures with family, more horseback riding, zip line gliding, rock-based climbing, hammock camping fun than you could ever imagine. And it's all outdoors, amongst the trees and the prairie, beneath Nebraska skies. Plan an outing today at yournebraskaadventure.com. Sponsored by Nebraska Game and Park with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
This is your captain. We are going to be experiencing some slight turbulence. Please fasten your... Oh, hold on. Just got a video of my cat.
Imagine the pilot of an airplane was as confident as you are texting and driving. Seems kind of crazy when you put it like that.
TextStopWrecks.org. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
Back to Bigger Than the Score with Peter Ferguson from Lincoln Public Schools on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome back to 93.7 The Ticket, Bigger Than the Score. This is Peter Ferguson BHS LLC. And then we've also got Harrison producing the show and on the board, and always very appreciative of that. Had a great first couple segments. We've got Nyalak, who is a senior at Southeast High School, and kind of shared some great advice on just different things on being involved, but just overcoming adversity, and a couple shout outs to her family, her extended family. I think she did it in order too. I like how she said, can I do it in order?
Yeah, she was prepared. She's not going to miss any names. She was certain.
Got everybody. And then Darion, who, I love, he gave a shout out to a math teacher, which was absolutely awesome. And if you haven't been on and you're hearing his voice, he is only a sophomore in college. He is not on the market for college, fraternity parties or, fraternity outings or gatherings or whatever else. But we're also joined by his big Jeff, and we'll have him kind of give some input and some feedback as well here in a little bit. But as we went to break, I kind of shared, kind of want to just like, what is some of the best advice that each of you have received from somebody? So now, like, what's some advice that you've received from somebody that you value?
I would just say, just like, have to step out of your comfort zone, especially like me, just like opening up about my feelings. I said that's like probably the biggest advice, because like you're opening up about your feelings, all the shoulders lifted off, and then like you're just able to take that step forward again, like how I was talking about.
I think that's cool in a lot of ways, because I've seen you develop, from a freshman on up, and you always have had a presence when you walk in the room. Okay, you've got some height, and you're charismatic when you came in, and I've seen you in my wife's preschool class, and they just gravitate towards you and climb on you and everything else. But it's seeing your voice, putting your voice out, has been really something that's been a joy to watch happen. Darren, what about you? What's a piece of advice that you've received from somebody?
I take this a lot from my mom, but she's like, don't go into like life thinking it's going to be a walk in the park. Like, no, it's going to be hard. So you got to like try your best on everything, and don't take anything for granted. Like, be very grateful for everything you have, and just make sure you're ready for life, because it can hit hard.
That's powerful. There's a poem by Langston Hughes, Mother to Son, Life for Me, been a crystal staircase. And so I kind of, as you said that, it made me reflect on that poem. So good advice. So advice that you've been given, but what is some advice that each of you would give? What's some advice that you would give? We're going to start to your peers. So Darren, what's some advice that you would give to your friends, or other peers that are out there kind of in that, I'd say, elementary through high school range?
I feel like get to know your teachers 100%, because once you get to know them, I mean, they're just such awesome people. Like, because they know what like they've been through, like through college. So like, if you just get to know them, like everything's gonna go easier for you, and like you're just gonna like be able to like connect with more teachers easily if you like get to connect with your students. And especially like through middle school, if you can connect with your teachers, it'll go a lot faster than you think.
Wow, that connection piece of building, again, relationships is absolutely essential. So great piece of advice. Now, like, what about you?
I would say mainly for like high schoolers, just like set a goal and then make sure you're like having little goals to get you to that bigger goal. to bring you up to like, like do something day by day to help you reach that bigger goal that you want to do in like what 3-4 years. And then again, back to what Darian said, like relationships, I'd say relationships, that's the biggest thing. And then just being able to like, when you're around people, think of the positive. No one wants to be around someone that's negative all the time and just bring down the vibe. So just be positive around each other. And that's like, you don't know that like, that could help someone a lot.
Wow. That positivity and that engagement and wearing that. So on the other side, what's a piece of advice that you would give to adults and parents out there?
I'd say, again, just be positive, because like younger kids are always looking up to you guys. We're seeing what you guys are, so we're gonna follow because we think you guys know better than us. So yeah, and just being able to like get out of your comfort zone too, to speak with us and just open up and make us understand like more of what you're coming from or your perspective.
Awesome, fantastic.
Yeah, I feel the same way that she does, but then there's like take it easy on the kids because they're growing and you don't want to give any bad habits to them, because you want them to grow up and be successful people. So just make sure you can like look through their point of view too, like make like exactly like a good mentor, because we look up to them and we just need to make sure they grow into like successful people and just love your kids.
Yeah,
very much.
I love that. He's just like, love your kid, and with that bass in his voice. So otherwise, he's coming for you. One of the things is, so as we're going into school, getting ready to start, we've had educators that listen, Phil Mayer, and a lot of other individuals. What makes a top-notch educator? Like in your mind, like what are 2 or 3 characteristics that make an educator at the highest level?
I'd say if they can teach their lesson, and like if you ask a question, they can be very descriptive and it's easy to like comprehend, like because there's sometimes like I was in school and my teacher was teaching me something and like I just didn't get it, but they explained to me in a way that I could fully understand it, and I just got it like that, and then the rest of the class went easy. And I'd say another way to make a educator like really helpful is just like the students can really, I'd say, make or break you, because you know how rumors are, like they can totally destroy a teacher.
Ooh, he just put it out there. He's like, I love how you said that, rumors. There were songs, I'm like on this music track right now, and it was like how rumors can get you. But what do you mean by that? In all seriousness, is it just having the conversation? This is the person that builds rapport. This is the person that builds relationships with you, or this is the person that doesn't necessarily care?
Like on the rumors thing?
Yeah. What do you mean by that in regards to rumors?
I'd say like when a student like acts out, I'd say like, and you just take it in the wrong way. Some like people like, oh, they don't are helpful to these students. Like if someone like breaks down or like have a freak out, like they're just not helpful, I guess. And then students stop liking them and stop trying their class, and then they become not a like teacher.
Kind of how you handle that, how you handle the situation. Whether there's consequences on things if you're acting out or doing things in a certain way, but it's how you go about handling that. If it's a professionalism, there's equity involved with it from one student to another, those type of things. So good point. Now, what about you? What makes a top-notch educator?
I'd say just being able to, again, connect with your students, like teachers wanting to have like this strong front, like first couple weeks of school, and then once like you get into the end of like the semester, and it just feels like a safe classroom, like a safe space. A lot of kids need that. And then just being able to like, again, connect with kids, be that safe person for them, just open up and show who you are, because that's when trust starts to build, especially with us younger kids.
Awesome. Fantastic. So we talked earlier, we've got another individual in studio, Jeff, who is Darian, who is your through the Big Brothers Big Sisters program. And those that may not be familiar, Big Brothers Big Sisters is a mentoring organization, provides an opportunity for a connection and a relationship for individuals that is outside of the school hours. And so, Jeff, I want to kind of introduce you and just, tell us a little bit about who you are. Yeah, just go ahead right up to the mic and you'll be good to go.
You and Smith will just kind of trade off.
Yeah.
So Jeff Murray, originally from Seward, Nebraska. Me and Dee have been together now for, I believe it was 5 years. 5 years in May. So yeah, just to see him, just to see the growth. And, you know, you look back at pictures and memories and when he was just a little scout, and now he's here on the radio with a grown man.
Yeah, I
So,
was gonna say it's grown man. That's a grown man. We don't even have to say speak from your chest.
No.
It's like right at his cheeks, and it just comes down in very little ways.
yeah, I remember the first phone call I got from him. I was like, wait a second, who am I speaking to right now on the phone? So it's just been a blessed journey to be a part of, and it's just getting started.
Awesome. So when we've been talking about relationships, you know, what is something that you've taken away from the things that you've heard both of them sharing here? You said you were a parent, so you've gotten a little bit of sleep today, but just kind of listening to these two, what's something that you're like take with you when you go home to your two children?
I mean, just a big thing with the relationship thing, you know, and being intentional in those relationships. I've learned so much from D and just in our 5 years, you know, just for myself and my family. But yeah, just building those relationships, you know, being honest and just being forthright and being there for that person. You know, there's like he said, life's gonna be, you know, it's not always butterflies and those, you know. So, but just being aware of that and being able to just, you know, have those relationships and have those people who you can lean on and count on and yeah.
I think that's cool in so many ways. And so obviously all of you have had, and you two have shared moments with one another. And now like you've had those, I'm going to ask you both the same question. Like, what's a moment you've had that you're like, man, I wish everybody could have this experience. But it just resonates with you, but you wish everybody that's within bounds that can be put up on the air that everybody can have. Now, like, I want to start with you. What's a moment that you've had that you're like, man, I wish everybody could have this and make them a better person?
I don't know. I got to think for a second.
Okay.
Yeah, I got one. So it's actually with me and D. I believe it was our second year in the program, and we did a fashion show.
Okay.
And both out of our comfort zone, but we cleaned up very nice.
Okay.
And there was a picture at the end, and we were walking down the runway, and I was just looking kind of, you know, feeling good, touching my blazer, and he was looking up at me, you know, and it was that look of like he was smiling, you know. And I look at that picture a lot just to be like, you know, the impact that you can have on somebody in their lives and even in your lives is just it's a beautiful, beautiful thing. And I will always, we still see people. God, we were at Shields a couple times, and we were just at the luncheon where people remember us from 4 years from this actual fashion show. So yeah, it was a beautiful, beautiful moment.
Awesome. D, what about you? A moment that you've had that you wish everybody else could have?
I'd say like just go on a dinner date with someone.
Okay.
Like and just like, hang with them and really like get to know them, I guess is what I'm trying to say. But that just
that's been cool. That's been cool in so many ways, because I think Harrison, one of the things we had one couple, or not couple, but one family, a son come in and he's just like, what's the coolest thing? And he goes, it's just spending time with my dad at home.
Yeah,
it's just kicking it. It wasn't like I want to go to a game or I want to travel overseas. It was simplistic.
Yeah, sometimes like, especially, you know, I think kind of where he's referring to, it's like someone, you know, that you're cool and just really care about, and it's just casual. It's like sometimes it's all you need. You know, I can say the same thing for me. Some of the best memories with my dad, Lakers game. Barely talked, but it was great. Like just that presence right there. Like he kind of knows my routine, my vibe. I'm the same way with him, and yeah, there's just always a lot of comfort in that. And not a word's had to always spoken, but it was just always a good time. And yeah, you kind of get that sense of just, you know, real, true connection. And I think, you know, he's been really big on that, talking about how important that connection is, whatever aspect it comes through. As long as you have someone like that you trust, and you know you have that connection, yeah, it goes a long way.
Yeah, it's huge. Now, like, what about you?
I'd say this one time I actually did sit. Actually, it was in Miss Kelsey Banks's office when she was still admin at Southeast. But Miss Moore was in there, and she was at me for my grades because I was like not gonna be able to play or something like that. And then she was just like, "Oh, you need to do this and this and this," and then like cleared the rest of my schedule so I could actually just get my stuff done. I was like, "Dang, she really does care about me."
Wow, that's so. Want you to do this. Give 30 seconds from what I said during the break. But what's 30 seconds that you would say to your younger self?
just keep going.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, so just keep going. Why is that?
There's a lot of adversity that you're gonna hit when you're younger. And then once you like, I feel like once you get older, then you look back and be like, oh, I already had like this situation happen before. I can handle this again.
I love that. Just keep going. D, what about you?
Some advice I give to myself is don't take everything as it is. Like, be able to be flexible and hear say like I shouldn't. When they say it, I should be able to like think other than like what they said. As in, like, if they tell me like to grow up, don't think of it as an insult. Think of it as something to grow off of when I'm like going through it. So I just say like take everything with another meaning. I'd say.
I love that point where he said, "Don't just grow up, grow up." Jeff, what about you? I love the seamless transition of the headphones. It was just like, what are they like? Here's your crown. Here's your crown. Here's your crown.
Yeah, I would say just be open. Don't be afraid to share your feelings and your emotions. That's what I would kind of think if I was looking back on my old self. Just don't be afraid. You're the innocence of a child, and you just be open to your peers and open to your mentors and to your parents. And I mean, those people are there to help you. So don't let something in your previous life kind of hold you back from your future life.
Awesome. As we're kind of getting ready to wind up on some things, what's a piece of advice real quick that you would, or what's what future goal that you have for yourself, Nylon?
Especially within like the next like 7-8 years or something like that, just like own my own business, sports psychology business, like clinical sports psychology business. So,
Okay.
yeah.
You can talk me off the ledge on that on that 15th hole over there at Pioneers. What about you?
Could you say the question?
Yeah, what's a future goal that you have for yourself?
I definitely want to get offers like NATLAC. I definitely want to try to go to a college. That's like one of my biggest things I want to do. Like, I definitely want to go to college. That's something I want to do. Like my sister did too. Like, she got a full ride, so I might like try to be more like her. Like, see if I can get that.
Awesome.
But yeah, it's like one of some of my goals. Just go. I mean,
Fantastic. Well, hey, we really appreciate both of y'all being there. You both are going to crush it. Jeff, thank you. And as we close, 93-second ticket, bigger than the score. The quote for the day: the sun does not ask permission to shine, and neither do I. And so I ask that you take that with you. You don't need permission to shine. Make that happen. So have a great week. We'll see you next week on 93.7 The Ticket, bigger than the score.